You know, I feel like there's only been one true battle in real estate for the past however many years, and that's rent versus own. It's like, I'm gonna rent and I don't really care. And then it's like, no, I'm gonna own and that's better and that's smart financially. It's not a WWE match, people. Come on. Hi guys, and welcome to Home with Nick. I'm your host, Nicholas Montier, helping you buy, sell near or far through our real estate education that we feel that you so desperately need. We are talking today about rent versus own. And again, I hate that it's rent versus own. It should just be I choose to rent or I choose to own. There's really no versus, unless again you're contemplating and that's a battle maybe in your own mind. Let's lay down a couple of factors here right off the bat with why you really should be contemplating this and what you really should be looking at. And I think the first biggest question is, how long do you plan to stay where you're going to live? Now notice how I say live, not where you're going to own or where you're going to rent, because at the end of the day, whatever you choose is what you choose, okay? And today I'm gonna try to outline exactly what are the pros of buying, what are the pros of renting. How long are you going to actually live in your home? I think that's the biggest question. So are you gonna be there short term? And I have to be honest with you in my own experience, short term renting is great because I have the flexibility to do what I want to do. I've got a lot of options. I can test out different places. And then again, if I'm gonna be there 2, 3, 4, 5 years, most real estate calculators and different things that you'll see online, as far as my own research goes as well, it's probably gonna be better to buy financially. But again, that's a long-term plan. So you have to ask yourself, what's it gonna be? The second part of this that I wanna go over real quick is, again, proximity to where you want to live. I think when it comes to renting, the fabulous thing is you can choose the lifestyle you want. I think that's the beauty of it, right? You can live at the beach and you can rent that gorgeous 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom condo right on the sand and have the lifestyle that you want, no problem. Obviously, as long as you can afford it. Or I can live in the city, or I get to choose where I want to live when I rent. Now, when you go to buy, you're all based off your financial qualifications. So it's a lot more limiting, and maybe you want to live in the city, but you have to live in the suburbs because I only can afford the suburbs for now, and it's gonna be a more long-term plan before I can buy in the area of the lifestyle that I would want. So let's just go over a few bullet points that are pros as far as renting. And yes, today I'm gonna focus on the pros of renting and the pros of buying because obviously the cons would be the latter, right? The opposite of what I'm talking about. So the pros of renting, flexibility. I already mentioned it before. We can move where we wanna do, we can try out different neighborhoods, and maybe we spend a year, 2, 3 years renting, especially if you're new or moving from coast to coast. You know, testing an area and not necessarily buying right away could be of a benefit.
I wonder what kind of a woman you really are.
Too bad, but I can't give out samples.
Because you might move into an area where you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna get to try the restaurants, I'm gonna understand where my gym is, and you kind of get into a flow after a year of living somewhere and you start to understand the culture and where really the great spots are and maybe the not so great spots are. And again, renting allows you to have that flexibility. The second thing, buying a home is very expensive for a lot of people. And again, so renting allows you to have a little less upfront cost, that flexibility of, you know, putting in your deposit on a property. Likely you're going to get that deposit back when you move somewhere else, you know, as long as you haven't destroyed the place. But again, you don't have closing costs, so renting can also be a lot more cost effective. And I think that's why a lot of people rent, because that hurdle to save up for that down payment or those closing costs can be a bit harder to do than I think a lot of people think. I think one of the things that my friends love about renting, and again, it's been proven over and over again, is the maintenance factor, is that you don't have to worry about anything when you're renting, right? Again, if something breaks in your home, I hope that you have a great landlord that's taking care of those things, and they will come out and fix them. They'll send a handyman, plumber, electrician, what have you. So you have kind of a security blanket around you when you're renting, because again, it's not really on you. And depending on what kind of lease you've negotiated, hopefully you're not paying for maintenance items and you're not paying for landscaping costs, and wherever you live is where you get to live, and that monthly payment that you're paying is all that's coming out of your pocket. Now let's talk about the pros of buying. So obviously I own my own home, and again, this video is not supposed to be biased at all, but I'm gonna explain my own reasons as to why I own my home. I love my financial predictability. Let's say my payment today is $2,500 a month to live where I live. In a year from now, it'll be $2,500 a month, and in 2 years from now, it'll be $2,500 a month, and in 3, 4, 5, 5, 6, 7 years, it'll be $2,500 a month. And why I say that is because rents rise with our inflation and different costs that landlords have the opportunity to put on you. If you're renting, you have the kind of terrible factor of no stability. You know, if your landlord wants to sell or any of that stuff, you don't have any control over those items. And again, there are rental laws and restrictions out there that protect you, and I understand that. But I do love living in my home because I know that financially I can plan and I can create a future based off of if I grow financially, I know my house payment's gonna stay here. So think about this. If you get a promotion at your job or you're growing in the world, your paycheck is likely doing this. And again, if your paycheck's doing this, it's really great when your housing payment stays here, because then this alligator mouth that I like to say doesn't eat away at your finances, it only helps you grow. Beautiful thing. Another reason, it's again financial, but I'm growing equity every single day that I sit in my home. And again, most of the time that's because we're in an upward market, and we have been for quite a while now. And again, I do understand the fact that the markets do tank, and this is why I ask you, how long are you going to be in your home? If you're gonna be there for only a year, maybe 2 years, maybe renting is a great idea for you, because we don't have great certainty and nobody's got that crystal ball to understand exactly where it is that we're gonna be a year from now or 2 years from now.
I see a
House.
man in your life.
What, only one?
And if anybody's telling you that they know where we're gonna be 2 years from now, watch out for that person. Don't trust them. But again, I'm growing my home equity, which is fantastic. Year over year, in my neighborhood at least, we've seen between 3 and 5% appreciation in the last few years. There's been more aggressive years. This year we may see actually no appreciation. So again, it just depends on the year, but I'm growing my asset. My asset's growing while I live here. Not to mention that my monthly payment is broken down into different bite-sized pieces. And again, I get tax benefits from certain parts of my payment, like interest deductions, property tax deductions, and so on and so forth. So there's benefits to home buying, right, with that monthly payment, unlike a rental payment where 100% of that goes out the door, not necessarily with a mortgage payment. So something to think about. I'm not a tax professional, and again, I'm just giving you advice based off of what I have actually experienced in my own life, but in no way, shape, or form is this tax advice. I want you to still go seek your own CPA or tax professional. Last thing, and I think this is actually my favorite thing. Maybe they're tied. Maybe the financial's tied with the creativity. I don't know. But again, my point is you get to be creative with your home. So I'm a big landscaper. I don't know about you. Do you watch DIY channels and all of that stuff? That's like one of my favorite things to do. As you can see, my living room behind me, it's a bit colorful. So I like to paint walls. I like to landscape the yard. I like to be able to rip out some drywall or replace whatever I want to do. Replace light fixtures. I love shopping online for different things like that. DIY is huge for me. If you're a DIY person, when you're in a rental property, you don't really want to do anything to a rental property because it's not yours and you don't get to keep it. So it's really fun to, whether you buy a condo or buy a home, have that flexibility to do what you want to do with your space. I think that's what we all strive for, is we want to have that space that speaks to us right when we walk in through the front door. So I think a lot of people who are watching this video are probably thinking, well, yeah, you own a home, you build wealth, and it helps you get closer to that millionaire status or whatever your financial capability is that you're trying to get to. You know, some people watching may care about that, some may not. I personally care about my financial well-being. I hope you do too. A big commonality amongst millionaires, and especially billionaires, is the fact that they all own property, right? They all own property. If you look up articles, I'll put one in the description below. You know, 7 habits of a successful millionaire is owning property. So here's my 2 cents. Whether you're gonna rent your home or own your home, or whether you're renting now and you strive to own your home, whatever it may be, whatever your path is, what I will tell you is owning your own home is great. It's not everything, and nor would I ever tell anybody that real estate is the only thing you need to invest in your life. It's the only thing that's gonna help you grow. It's not necessarily true. And in fact, the stock market has historically, according to Case-Shiller, outperformed the housing market. So stock market year over year from 1928, I believe, I'll put the link below, to 2013, did a 9.5% increase year over year over year. during, gosh, almost 100 years, where the housing market historically only performed 3.7%. People say, well, the stock market did better than my house appreciation, so stock market's where it's at. Guys, I'm not saying do one or the other. I'm saying actually do both. Buy your home, live in your home, and then still invest in other markets and other assets so that you have some diversification. Historically, we have seen that the stock market doesn't always talk to the housing market. They don't go hand in hand, especially right now. This is 2020. If you look at what's going on in real estate and you look at what's going on in the stock market, two completely different things. And again, it's nice when you're on both sides of that fence so you can kind of watch from one side when it's green over there and then watch from the other side when it's green over there. Kind of beautiful. So again, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching today. I think when it comes to renting your home or owning your home, it's kind of like apples and oranges. They're not necessarily the same thing at all. And I think we all rent and own at different points in our lives for different reasons. That's my big takeaway from all the research that I've done for this video today. Again, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, hit the notification bell. I would greatly appreciate it. Any comments below on content that you want to see from us or you think there's something that we can research better for you, would love to hear from you. Thank you again for watching. This has been Home with Nick by Nicholas Montier, helping you buy, sell near or far.